right, y'all, before we start, because some of y'all be tripping, under the advice of counsel, I got to add that the views, thoughts, opinions that are expressed on this podcast are mine and mine alone. They do not represent my employer. All right, let's go.
Because I was like, damn, do we really want to get into this discussion? Because if we get into this discussion right here, y'all.
What's up, y'all? We are back with another episode of Ridgemont Forest Finest, the podcast. Today, we are going to be discussing a topic that is incredibly difficult, but incredibly important to discuss, and that is the topic of teen dating violence. We have a special guest here today, Quin. She is a mother who lost her baby due to dating violence. So first, I want to thank you for being here and having the courage to share your baby story and to help others raise awareness so that they'll recognize the signs to prevent this kind of tragedy. Before we get to talking, I know we spoke a little bit off the mic, and I do want to give a little disclaimer that says that due to the ongoing nature of the legal case involving your baby, there are certain aspects of her story that we can't discuss and we won't be discussing. So we are going to try to keep the focus on recognizing the warning signs, raising awareness, and learning from her experience. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So to start us off, just share some information about your baby. Share all the golden things about your baby. What was she like? And what are some things that you want people to remember about her?
Okay, so Malaysia was 19 years old when she passed. She was a mother of a 5-week-old baby girl. She graduated from Marshall High School in Missouri City. She was into a lot of what the young girls are into now, makeup, hair, things of that sort. But she did work at a doctor's office for a time. I think she was trying to phase out of that and start her own business as a makeup artist. She was a typical teenager. She was always really good in school. She participated on, I want to say, the volleyball team.
Mm-hmm.
She was a terrible teen.
She was
a handful as a teenager, but nothing outrageous. Like, she didn't give me problems in school. She didn't do things like run away. I don't know, drugs, anything like that. I really didn't have to deal with any of that. It was more so just I think I'm grown.
Teen girl stuff.
Yeah. That. But all in all, she was really maturing well after graduation. I was really proud of her. She was doing really good as a new mom. I was really, it's really good to see her being so responsible and taking care of her baby, like, really without me having to do much. So she had vision. Malaysia was also very determined. She was that kid that if she want to do something, she gonna figure out a way to do it. I always say that's like a two-edged sword, because when it's something good, that's great. We know you're going to achieve your goal. But when it's something bad, you go up that tree, it might fall on you.
Yeah.
And so, but she was very passionate, and one thing that she used to always do is the most, right? So I would say she was going to have this baby shower, and she was like, I want all this and that, and I didn't even take pictures when I was pregnant. So coming from that time, I'm like, I know everybody, that's the thing now. They got all these really pretty maternity pictures, make me feel like, dang, I should have did that.
Right.
But that wasn't our thing. You probably cannot find a picture of me pregnant. But she did that, and that's actually if you went to our page, her picture is shown on there, one of her maternity pictures. But I used to always be like, why you got to do the most like this, and she would be like, why not? Like, why not? And so I think about that, and we never know when our time is going to come. So when I think about that, I kind of smile on the inside, because, she did the most with the time that she had. And you never know when your time is coming. So I'm glad that she did it the way that she wanted to do it. Although I regret that this situation happened, because obviously she didn't want to let this situation go.
Right.
quick enough anyway. I think it would have happened, but there wasn't time.
Yeah.
But she was outgoing, really fun, always want to party. When she was a baby, she always want to go. She want to go. If somebody doing something, I want to go. But yeah, I mean, I miss her a lot. She was a very strong-willed and courageous when it comes to people that she loved.
That's beautiful. So let's transition into talking about teen dating violence. So as we talk about that, I do want to acknowledge how difficult this must be for you, but can you tell us when you started noticing changes in her behavior or anything unusual in her relationship that she was in?
So with this guy, she was 19. She met him. She only dated him for maybe a year. And he was in high school. She was out.
Okay.
It was his senior year, but she had already graduated.
Did they go to the same school?
Once upon a time, but she didn't know him.
Okay.
She met him on social media.
Okay.
He went to Yates.
Okay.
And that's actually in the newspaper articles. First, it was fine. You know, she seemed like she was having fun. She really wasn't feeling him at first. But I think he cried on the phone one night and told her he loved her. You know, that's the oldest. You know, they've been saying they love you since
forever.
the 80s. You love me, now you pregnant, and it wasn't that real, right? Well, that's what happened, basically. Same old story, right? She dates him, it's all good. He's nice at first, all attentive. She really wasn't into him. It's always them ones, right, that we didn't like at first.
Right.
Grow on us. And then they be like this horrible mistake, like, I know I didn't like you for a reason. But he wore her down. He cried or whatever. That worked.
Of course, it always works.
Right? So then she got into, well, that's my boyfriend situation. And within a couple months, she found out she was pregnant. Most of their relationship, well, most of the time that they dated on and off, whatever, she was pregnant. And for most of the pregnancy, they weren't together.
Okay.
So when she got pregnant, he didn't want the baby. Okay. He took to social media. He drug her on social media.
Oh, wow.
He had people inboxing her, talking about she's trying to trap him and she needs to just abort the baby.
Was he going somewhere special? Was he doing something special with his life after high school?
He thinks.
Okay.
He was a basketball star.
Oh, and they had that big team around that time.
I don't know. It was the kids. Whoever these kids are online that, you know, I'm the adult, so I don't.
Right.
I don't get into all that. They, to me, like, and they don't know. They're young. They just think with their feelings, and then they post. But she was very distraught behind it, and she didn't want to get an abortion. She was sad because, you know, she thought that he loved her. I mean, we know that story. So she's pregnant. She's dealing with it. He's, you know, they're not together. But whenever he wants something, he, you know, he comes back and he's just this, or he has these excuses, and she loves him, so she plays into it, and then he gets whatever he wants from her, and then here we go again with some chicks inboxing her or messaging her phone and him being disrespectful. So there was a lot of like social media type of abuse. And there was a lot of emotional and verbal abuse. There was a time when he sent her a video of him in the bed with another girl.
Oh, wow.
And she was at work. And she's pregnant, like big pregnant. And she's just so, you know, upset. And she's like, you know, and I'm like, just leave him alone. Like, clearly, he doesn't want to. So
you're mothering through all of this, trying.
Yes, I'm telling her, like, leave this guy alone. Like, you are a beautiful girl. There's so many women that have had babies on their own and been just fine. Yeah. Like, you don't need this.
We got you.
And you got you. Yeah. You don't even, you don't need, I mean, if he wants to be there for the child, then that's one thing. But You don't have to be. He with somebody else. So what? Let him be. But first love. Now, mind you, this is the first boyfriend that we've met. So this is like the first serious relationship. So I don't know if you can recall your first. I thought I was gonna just die.
Oh man! Oh
after my
goodness!
Right.
Oh man!
So you can imagine.
Yes.
So he does all of that, and eventually, I think she stopped talking to him. There was a lot of things that she wouldn't tell me because I don't like him.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't like him. We don't even got to talk about him because for me, like, he don't even exist. The only reason why I will deal with him is because out of respect for you.
Yeah.
And that's only to a certain degree. Right? They would do things like, now mind you, he stayed with his mom. So all this laying up and stuff was happening at his mom's house.
Oh, wow.
So they would do things like she would buy stuff for the baby, when he's getting whatever he wants out of her, too. And she would leave it over there thinking, no, we're all good. Because, they got to make it sound good and make you feel good in the moment.
Yeah.
And then something happens, and now she want to get her baby stuff. And him and his mom with, oh, you can't get anything from over here. So now I got to get into it. And I got to, can you please take me over here and call his mom? Like, I got to take you over here. I got to talk to her and tell her that, because she's like, well, she don't want to leave it over there. So if she don't want to leave it over there and she bought it, then she don't have to leave it over there. So I'm going to bring her to get the stuff and you're going to give it to her.
Right.
So that happened on a few occasions. I want to say 2 or 3 times. When she was killed, let me rewind. She ended up having the baby. I was with her at the hospital when she had the baby. From my knowledge, she was not with him during that time. But she did want him. She did tell him like she was having a baby, so she did have him on the phone. And, I held the phone so he could see.
Of course.
And, because at the end of the day, it's his baby.
Yeah.
I'm at the hospital with her for 2 days until she has the baby. I go home because I want to take a shower and sleep, not in a recliner. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go home and shower and rest, and I'll be back to pick y'all up, because she came to my house after having the baby. She lived with her dad during the time that this happened because, as I stated, she was a terrible, I'm grown teen. And I'm the kind of mom that I have rules. And yes, I would love to be your friend, but that is not top priority to me. Like, I'm going to be your mother, and I'm going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And if that pisses you off, then you're going to be pissed.
You're going to be mad.
Yeah. So, on the other hand, that is, long as you ain't in my way, you could, whatever. I don't care. That's not me. It's rules at my house. You can deal with them, or you could leave.
Because you have younger children. She's your oldest baby.
The oldest, yes. So I have a 14-year-old, a 9-year-old, and then my son is 21. And she would have been 23.
Okay.
So she would have been 24 in February. This upcoming February, she would be 24. So I get a call from her that he's picking her up from the hospital. And I'm like, God, like, but I can't do nothing about it because she's grown.
You're grown, yeah.
So it's nothing I can do but say, okay, So he does. He picks her up. He brings her and the baby, to my house.
Okay, to your house. I was about to say, please don't say his mama's house. Okay.
Oh, they stopped by there. I found that out after.
Okay.
After she passed is when I found that out. So she comes to the house for a few days, and then after a few days, I'm going to go to his house just for a few days so he can help me with the baby, because he said he can't help me like he wants to over here. Because he had come to see the baby one day, and you got to sit in the living room.
Right.
First of all, I don't really do you like that. And second of all, you just not going to be like, I don't do the Motel 6 housing.
No.
You don't come and lay up at my house. You want to get booty, go to the motel or y'all figure it out.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, we sure did.
That's
how we got them, figuring it out.
Right. But now they doing it at their mama house.
Yeah.
So that happened, and so she went over there for a couple days. Something happened to where, then I got a call that she bought a car. She called me and was like, I brought a car, and I'm like, you brought a car? Like, where this came about? Where this came from? I know he got something to do with it. So I'm like, no, rewind that. She bought the car, and then she came over, and she didn't have no edges on her hair. And I was like, what's wrong with your hair? Like, what happened to your edges? She done got in a fight with a girl behind him.
Is this post baby? Oh, wow.
You ain't even healed yet.
Oh, wow.
And you out here fighting with somebody about this boy? Like, why? Like, you know what I mean? And where was the baby?
Yeah.
He talked her into getting his car. One day she's over there. He is gone in her car. She with the baby. Now she still stitches. Ain't went to the doctor, nothing. He didn't bring her. She said he was gone from like 12 in noon. Now this your car that you just bought. And he didn't come back till like 2 a.m. He didn't bring her no food, nothing.
Just gone in her car.
Just gone in her car. I think that was the last straw for her. She left and she was like so hurt and she was crying and like he didn't care. He had gotten him something. He didn't give a shit about her at all. So that was like the split up from my knowledge.
Right.
And I didn't know she was talking to him. So on the day that she got killed, I went to the beach. I remember this day, like, I was doing, like, accessories. I had started, like, this accessory business. And I had some drop-offs that morning. And then me and my husband and my 2 youngest girls, we went to the beach. We were coming home. It's about 9 o'clock. I got home, got in the shower, and her dad is calling my phone. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and he's calling my phone. So I didn't answer it at first because I'm like, what the hell he want? Like, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to just let it ring. He calls back. And then he calls back again. And so I got out the shower to answer the phone, and he said, somebody called me. Now, mind you, the boy's mom, I had talked to her before on the phone because about getting Malaysia stuff. And initially, they wanted her to get an abortion, and she didn't want to do it. And I guess that she wanted them to like her so bad that she didn't want to just tell them no, or So I told her, and so we had each other's number. He calls me and tells me that somebody in those apartments called him and said that my daughter had gotten shot and she was dead. And I just was like, don't tell me that. And those were my exact words. And I just remember just jumping up and putting on some clothes and going over there. I called his mom's phone. She answered. I said, is it true? And she said, yes. So why didn't you call me?
Right.
Why? Y'all didn't think to call nobody in her family? Y'all just let her lay there and die? Like, nobody. So I get there and I'm in shock. Like, I can't believe this. Like, it's just not, it's not clicking. Like, it's not real, right? So I'm there. They wouldn't let me get on this, in the apartment or anything. So we're out there, and all they can think to do is defend him and ask me if they still gonna be able to see the baby.
Wow.
No care for my daughter whatsoever. Not nothing. So obviously, I'm just not in the, I don't care. First of all, I don't care about him.
Right.
Because he didn't.
I never did. Mm-hmm.
He didn't care about my daughter, and I had talked to her before about her son,
mm-hmm.
and she felt like that's their business. I'm not getting in their business
about things that were going on in their relationship. Mm-hmm.
This stuff is going on in your house.
Mm-hmm.
He don't have a house,
right?
You know, he don't, or apartment, whatever. He don't have a place of residence. He lives with you, but you don't got nothing to say. And now my daughter did, and you wanna ask me about the baby who was at the house when my daughter was killed. Nobody called me. We got to hear from a neighbor that live over there that just so happen to know that she's family of my baby daddy. He know a lot of people that be in the streets. I don't, you know. So there was a little bit of exchange there, but at the end of the day, none of that is going to bring my daughter back, and I don't really care. As far as I'm concerned, y'all don't get no baby.
Yeah.
You didn't, like, I don't understand why a loaded gun was around a baby. Or why there was a loaded gun pointed at my daughter, period. Like, I can't understand that to this day. Like, what would make you pull a gun on the mother of your child with your 5-week-old baby there?
Right.
You know, like, it don't compute to me. A lot of things have come out since that happened as to other things that were going on that I wasn't privy to. But like I said, it's done now, and it's not nothing. Even when I went to get her stuff, like, the next day, because they wouldn't, they had it taped up. You couldn't go in there, so I went and got her stuff. Some of her stuff, I'm sure they kept stuff. But they was, oh, you still mad? I'm still mad. Like, I'm still mad. Like, my daughter, is she still dead?
It's not even 24 hours.
Can she come back ever? Wow. You know what I mean?
The fact that you even had the strength to go over there so soon to get your baby's things, I would still be catatonic in the corner.
They can't. Yeah. Well, see, this is my mindset. I can't let her go out like that. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just not do nothing.
Yeah.
It's not going to help the situation. I know that my daughter will want justice. I know she wants justice. She wants him to pay for what he did to her. You know what I mean? And not only that, but I have other kids.
Yeah.
So I can't lay down and die. Even though you think if something happened, like, as a mom, I know that that's something you don't even want to think about.
No.
That. Like, that's not even a thought you want to have. But when it happens, I mean, you have a choice.
Yeah.
You either have to choose to keep living and be strong for your children that you still have, or you can die with her. But then that's a ripple effect, because now your other children are going to reap that. You know what I mean? So it's not easy, but it has to be done.
So where we are, and I know, again, we can't discuss the legal aspects of it, but from what you can share, where are you in the case? Where are we in getting justice?
So we need to be going to trial.
Okay. Because this is, tell us the year that this happened.
This happened in 2020.
2020.
August 8th, 2020.
I swear it feels like, to me, yesterday. Because as you're saying, the beach, you know, on Facebook, it's like you watch everybody's kids grow up on Facebook, right? And I think I need to tell the audience, too, you and I have been friends since, like, second, third grade, right? We were more like cousins because your mom lived next door to my aunt. Yeah. And I was always over there, walked home to your house after school every day because my aunt wasn't home, ate sandwiches and chips and just all of those things, right? So I remember y'all being at the beach. I remember your post on Facebook that night. It was so cryptic, and I was like, wait, what? Thinking, what's going on? And I remember, let me go back. I remember prior to the beach, I remember the maternity pictures. I remember the baby being, I remember all of these things in my head because you see them play out in real time, right?
Yeah.
I remember the cryptic message on Facebook that night. And I remember texting my cousin that lived next door to you. I remember texting our neighborhood street friends like, hey, did y'all hear blah, blah, blah. And then something said, go to the news. I'm an old lady. I always am on the news stations, always. And I saw it and I said, oh my God.
Girl.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I couldn't, and all I could think was that can you give us some tissue? I just remember thinking like, this baby just had this baby. This baby just had this baby. That's all I could think of. But 2020, we're in 2024. What you can discuss, where are y'all as far as justice is going?
We are ready to go to trial. Like, I don't know what the holdup has been. It's been one thing after another.
Has he been charged?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's been charged. So he was he was charged with manslaughter.
Okay.
Which is really not good enough in my opinion.
Right.
But they said because he said it was an accident, which they all say that it was an accident because they don't want to. They're too cowardly to talk to what they actually did. They didn't. That was just the charge that they could absolutely know that would stick. And, at the time. But he changed his story 3 times. It went from she shot herself on accident.
Oh wow.
To he was. They was doing something with the gun. She was passing it to him, and he went off. To he was trying to put the safety on. And I'm like, who holds a gun up in the air to somebody's neck and tries to put a safety on that way?
In front of your baby.
Pointed at my daughter. Who does that? Who does that? So they know he's lying. You have to prove it, though. So at this point, his attorney had been resetting and resetting. We had to change courts once, which I'm glad we changed courts. So now it was supposed to be in the beginning of November. It was supposed to be in September. And then his attorney had something. And so they said that they were going to try to reset it to the beginning of November. And then something happened with the ADA that I have, which I'm very grateful for. I don't know if people know this, but in Harris County, I don't know about Fort Bend County, but in Harris County, they changed on a murder case for, I'm not even going to say on a murder case. I'm just going to say on a case that's being presented by the state, basically. So the district attorneys, they changed them like underwear.
Oh, wow. So
while the criminal will have one attorney the entire time, right? And even if they stop paying that criminal attorney, it's only they can't quit after a certain time, or they'll say it's jeopardizing the criminal's case. But you can change out the victim's
representation.
District attorney. I mean, the ADA. You can change them out like draws. Every 3 months, they trying to change you to a new one. And each one got to get familiar with the case over again. And my question was, how is that beneficial to my daughter's case? When you got somebody new every 3 to 6 months on the case, and you keep resetting it. So, it's going on for years. And so
you're having to tell your story to these people over and over again, the different people that...
Well, they have all the notes. They keep all the notes from the previous ADA. Well, luckily, I did get one. I've had a few good ones, but I did get this last one that I have, and she has been moved to another court, but she has chosen to keep our case because she wants to get us justice. So I hated that they reset it this time, and it's reset to her birthday, right? So I hate that, I'm glad that they didn't pass it off to somebody new. And now I got to go through this again. And you don't want somebody trying the case that don't care. Right. That this is just another case to them. because although this is their job, these are real people.
Yeah.
You know? And, so I just really feel like in the criminal justice system, like victims need more, they need more assistance.
Yeah.
They need more representation. They need more protections. You know, they need the same thing they're giving these criminals, all these loops and all these things. They need to have that for the victims, because I know that there are some people that are, you know, not guilty.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people, they've done it. They've done it, and the victims, they can't get their peace back. If they survive, they can't get their lives back, and they absolutely deserve justice. So to keep letting these people get off, and you know, it's a miscarriage of justice, like, period. It's kind of, I feel like, you know, you get re-victimized, you know, within the system, and it's just not a good feeling.
Yeah.
You know, it makes you, you know, I think I made a reel when I found out, and I was like, this is why people take things in their own hands.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
know, because the people that's supposed to be fighting for you, they don't care. You know what I mean? And it's not good enough. Like, people, oh, well, he's in jail. He's not been convicted of what he did yet. And while he's in jail and I'm still in limbo, you know, like, this, you don't know the trauma and the stress that I go through when I think it's about to be a trial.
Yes.
Or not having closure. It's not fun. You know what I mean? And if I have something going on and something happens with this case, it totally disrupts my peace.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even focus at all. You know, and they just need to do better. I feel like I wish it had happened in Fort Bend County.
Yeah, because or Brazoria County, it would have been wrapped up a long time ago.
Harris County, disgraceful.
So is he? So you said he's in jail awaiting trial. So he's been in jail since 2020, or is he's in jail for something totally unrelated to this case?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Criminal's criminal.
Okay.
So he got out the day after he killed my daughter. He got out the next day.
Wow.
Yeah. He didn't have any priors, but he was 18, so he didn't have time to have priors.
Right.
As soon as he could do something, he did it. Right? That's how I look at it. But he has committed, I want to say, 2 other felonies and two misdemeanors. He went to jail this time because he took the police on a chase.
Wow. So you've impacted them. So now it's a problem.
Now it's a problem because there's cops involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why they revoked him. He had gone to jail before. They let him get him another bond and had been caught with a gun, which was against his bond.
His bond? What the heck?
They still let him out. The Democratic judges.
Wow.
I know. So, but it's like you gotta do something to a cop for them to keep him. Now he can't get any bond.
And how long has he been?
Since 2022.
Oh, he didn't waste any time.
He been doing it when it's like, I don't know. We have custody of my grandbaby.
Good. Was that immediate?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Because at the scene, I took her home.
Okay, I didn't know if they had tried to fight for.
But she couldn't do nothing with her. The murder happened at her house.
Oh.
So she couldn't take her in there, or, you know. And I'm not even gonna comment on the mom because that's just a whole nother.
I can imagine.
Horrible mess. And I'm not okay with it.
Yeah.
But we've had her. So after we got her, and they, you know, there was discussion on the scene, and there was some little girl, you can't keep him from seeing his baby, and blah blah blah. I'm like, who is she?
Another one of the girls in the inbox.
So, and I told them then, do what you got to do, because I'm gonna do what I got to do. And so whatever that looked like for you, you got to do it. So we did. We took the baby home. It was a lot for me. So I share custody with my mom. I couldn't even. I couldn't do nothing for a while when this happened. I wasn't eating. I just couldn't. I just was trying to make it through the days, you know.
And still be a mom to your other baby.
Trying, but my husband helped me a lot because he would have to beg me to eat. Like, can you please, you know, and it's just like, I'm not hungry. Like, please leave me alone.
Yeah.
But we filed a lawsuit for custody. because we didn't want them to come back and try to say, because their only stance was, well, he's the dad.
Yeah, right.
That's not enough. I'm sorry. He shot her mom while she was there. So we went to court, and the mom lied on my daughter. Really pissed me off. Did I tell you that they did a GoFundMe when she first was trying to get him an attorney, talking about that he was they were in this loving relationship, and it was a tragic accident. Y'all crazy.
Girl, I'm telling you, did the GoFundMe raise money?
It started to raise money, but we called. A bunch of people called and complained, and they took it down.
Good.
And I told her, how dare you?
Your
son kills my daughter, and then you try to make money off of it? You must have lost your mind. People are crazy.
And then you're raising money for his legal fees. Not even saying raise money for the baby.
There was no remorse. And that is the thing about it. Like, people think, like, oh, you shouldn't, like, punish the mom, or... No, I should if the mom don't see no fault in this. When we went to child custody court for that, she said that she would trust him around. She didn't see anything wrong. She would trust him around the baby. No problem.
Oh, boy.
Why would you...
Boy, moms.
If my son had did this... No, like, I want to see my grandbaby because I want to see my grandbaby. But I absolutely am not leaving you around the baby by yourself. No. Like, I don't even know if I want to be
around you. Yeah. You off.
You know, because I feel like there is a way to support your child while still holding them accountable.
Yeah.
I will come see you. I still
write you letters.
But you
give you money for your books.
You got to answer for it. But saying like, oh, no, he didn't do anything. Like, he didn't do anything wrong. I can't possibly. She like, oh, you not. I remember when I did the Justice for Malaysia page, she came on there and she was like, they were trying to like bully me. I guess that's what they were.
On your daughter's page?
Yeah, under the post. And she was saying, you're her sister or something because she has an aunt and he wouldn't do this. And I told her, she's like, oh, well, you can let her come see you. I said, I wouldn't let my dog come to your house.
No.
Nobody, I don't trust you. Like,
nobody in your family, none of y'all.
No. And you're saying that he's just such this good guy and it's just, okay, so what about the other things that he's done since then? What about all the stuff that was happening before then? I know it's stuff that I didn't know. There's been some talk about, now I don't know how true it is, about him raping her, forcing her to have sex with him after the baby, and her saying she didn't want to because it hurt or whatever, and him forcing her to. And that just makes my skin crawl. And it's just like, I wish that she would have left him alone.
Yeah.
You know? And I talked to her after she had the baby, and I just was telling her that, you know, she can find somebody that loves her. Yes. Like, you don't have to be with him. Like, I know that, you know, but we want to have a family that we didn't have. You know, like, I wasn't with her dad. And it's not because, you know, I didn't want to have the family. It just was because you're not the best thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes things just don't work out. And kids don't really understand that when they're kids. You know, they think that it's this simple thing where you just, you know, you fall in love and then you run off into the sunset. Yeah. And it don't work like that.
Never does.
Right. So it's a lot more complicated, but she wanted to have that as everybody does. So that's the big thing now. Little girls, because they grew up in single parent households, they want to have the family, and that's fine if it's healthy. Yeah. But if it's not, it's not the best thing for you or your baby. And it's costing them a lot.
Mentally, yeah. Yeah.
I had somebody reach out to me recently that their child's father had them in trafficking.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He would do things to them when they would try to leave, but it started off as, if you love me.
If you love me. Yeah.
You know? So this is, you know, why I am just on an all-out campaign, because my daughter shouldn't have died like this. I honestly think she was on the way out of this relationship. I don't know what happened on that day that triggered this, you know, but there were signs. I don't know if he ever hit her, but this is the thing. The signs are not always
there.
physical.
Yeah.
Sometimes when that person click, that's it. And it may have been how they were, the things that they were saying to you, the things they were doing. These things let you know that they don't really care about you. You know what I mean? They are out for themselves.
Yeah. But they're so good, and I don't know what it is about. Even as an educator, right? Like I was telling you off the camera, every year we have to sit through teen violence, teen dating violence, professional development, and it seems, even as you know, I teach middle school, right? And I taught high school, but they're getting younger and younger where they're getting into these abusive situations, and you trying to explain to these young ladies that the situation that you're in, that your little boyfriend or whatever this thing you got going on, this is abusive. This is mentally abusive. This is emotionally abusive. We're even having some situations of financial abuse in teenagers this early with mama money, or mama giving you your child support card. So now you got money, or you do lashes or nails on the side, and now you have money. And because these young girls want to feel loved so bad, they want to feel that unconditional love. Like, even though you know that we're giving to them, right? But it's different when you can say you belong to somebody. And it's so scary that they're putting themselves in these situations. And we, you know, just like the teen dating violence sessions that we have to do human trafficking sessions. And we see that too. We see the high school girls get a boy that may be a year older, or we see them in high school, the boys in high school already connected with people on the streets that are introduced into trafficking, and them introducing their girlfriends to these people. And these are things that we're seeing. And it's like, what do we do? Because guess what? There is nothing that me as a broke teacher, you know, I'm not somebody that they idolize, okay? You know, there's nothing I can say to them when they're seeing quick money and instant gratification in a lot of these situations, right? A lot of their boyfriends, even in high school, their boyfriends work, or their boyfriends sell drugs, or their boyfriends do whatever, and they're giving them major money, or they're showing them major money. Miss, you can't tell me nothing. You broke. You a teacher. It's nothing that I can tell you.
Yeah, you're not gonna be there or in jail in a couple of years either.
Yeah. But getting them to understand that, because social media has shown them that quick money, instant gratification, and we have glamorized, I'm not saying we as in myself, but toxic relationships are glamorized
in our culture.
Yeah.
It's the music.
Yeah, definitely the music. In the TV show, in the reality shows.
In the reality shows. Yeah. And it's the not having the conversation about the whole picture. They just showing you part of the picture. I'll never forget, and this might be a little off, but there was a documentary about porn stars. And the girl was on there, and she was a porn star, and she was talking about all the things that you don't know. You're watching this because you think it's like, you know, you getting off to it, right? But she's like, but they don't know that this person has HIV and this one has a case of that, you know?
Oh, wow.
So, or like one of the ladies that was a porn star, her whole butthole fell out. And I'm just like, because, you know, just the constant.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I mean, can you imagine if you were watching a porno and just watching somebody get HIV?
Yeah. I always think, when I think of that, I think of, all I can see now is human trafficking. I don't see anything but trafficking now.
When you see porn.
Now that so I'm like, I'm glad they're starting to restrict it in Texas. Like, a lot of people are we not joked about it, but on our Teachers After Dark episode, how you have to create all these firewalls just to be able to access it. And I'm like, yeah, great, because now all I can think of is human trafficking. And I don't know if it's the many sessions that I've had to sit in, the many cases that we see happening in Houston. I don't know who's a minor, who's not a minor. I don't know anything, so I just don't want to see it at all. You know, that's all I could think of.
And even if it's not, because there are some people that just, you know, it's all about the dollar. It's still disgusting. Like, you still don't love yourself. Like, it's still bad for them to watch, because now you're looking at this and you're thinking that this is a means, but you don't know what they have caught, what they go through. They probably will never know what real love is, you know. But the bottom line is, you have to value yourself before you think anybody else can value you. Because what I found is a lot of the kids now, they think of, and I don't know if it's just kids, because they learn it from somewhere. Yeah. They're watching, and we go through relationships. I had Malaysia at 18, so I've learned a lot. Yeah, you know, just being in relationships on my own, because my mom didn't talk to me about. I don't even think we had the sex talk. I think I learned that through, you know, my peers. But think about when I was in high school. There was boys running trains on girls then. Yeah. And who's to say that girl wanted all those guys, right? You know,
like it wasn't some act of coercion or something.
And it was, though. Yeah. A lot of them probably went there for one boy. And then and then what can they do? And I've heard that story, like, well, I didn't mean to be that way. I went there for this person, and then all these other people come in, and I'm outnumbered, so
and I'm scared.
What am I supposed to do?
Or you hear if you love me, you would it's just nothing. Just if you love me, do this for me.
But this is the thing. If you love me, why would you want to share me? I don't. And I think some of it comes with maturity. You have to, once you learn that, you know, like, you have to look at you. You know, you have to live with you. Yeah. So if you do something, like, say you don't want to do it, it's no worse feeling for me. Like, I feel like I kicked myself if I do something that you want me to do, right? But I didn't want to do it. Yeah. But I did it anyway because you wanted me to do it. And now there's some consequences that I have to pay because I did it and I didn't even want to do it.
I got no fulfillment.
And I'm looking at you and you like, I didn't put no gun in your head. You know what I mean? But I have to live with that. Yeah. And God forbid it's something that's forever. You know, even when you think about sexual abuse, I had this situation happen to me before. And I didn't think of it as abuse then. But guy meets girl, right? They kick it, whatever. They agree they're going to do. Protect it. Right? He decides, well, she don't really know what she's doing, so I'm not gonna put anything on.
Or I'll take it off mid-act.
Without her knowing or without consent. That's assault. Yeah. And in that situation, when that happened to me, I felt so, when I found out, I was so pissed. Because all I could think of was, what if, you don't know if I had something. Right. I don't know if you had something. Like, why would you take it upon yourself to make that decision for me? But at the same time, I felt like you shouldn't even, and this is what maturity comes with, maturity and not just having fun. You know, you older now, you like, I'm not even taking that chance.
Right. I'm not even play with you.
Right. But that is, and most people will think, well, I did sleep with them, you know, so I don't really have, but that's abuse. Yeah. Because you didn't let me decide, you chose for me. There's so many ways, and it, like I said, you see it in schools. The hits on the butt. When you feel on somebody's butt, nobody can come up to me now and feel on my butt.
Oh no,
that don't happen outside of school with kids. And even then, if we make it okay, it's just gonna grow. Yeah, you know. But there's a culture. Boys are encouraged to be mannish. Yeah.
I had to explain that to my 8th graders because they have this thing now where they're hitting each other. And I said, you know, that's assault, right? And they're like, assault, miss, why you got to go there? And I'm like, no, seriously, like, think about it.
They think it's nothing.
That's assault. You violating his private space, his private areas, and y'all are laughing and joking about it. It's assault. But nobody's educating them because we're all stuck on the boys will be boys.
Exactly.
The boys will be boys thing. I remember... and I kind of want to get into the flags and signs. I remember you said you had your baby at 18. I had my baby at 18. I may have just turned 19. I can't remember, but pregnant at 18. I think I had my baby at 19, my oldest son. And his dad, you couldn't star basketball player of college because you could tell me nothing about this man. Okay, baby, the sun rose and set on his ass. Okay, that's how much I was so just and. from the north side of Houston. I grew up in Missouri City. Had no business. Do you understand me? No business in that area of town where I wasn't supposed to be fooling with him. Okay, sneaking off to go see him. Telling my parents I was in class. I was a freshman in college. Telling my parents I was in class. I had no class on that day, but I was laying up in his mama's house when his mama was at work. His mama. Let me not say that because.
Well, at least you didn't know.
Didn't know, but anyway, long story that not to make this about me, but I remember when I first got pregnant throughout my pregnancy, and I will never forget. I had the baby, and my baby may have been about 2 or 3 weeks old. And, this is the time I was still living at home, and everybody had their own phone line in their room, right? And my parents could not stand the air this boy breathed. Do you understand me? Like, don't talk about this boy. This boy's not allowed in my house. He did come to the hospital because my mama said, yes, you could do that. But other than that, it was a no-go. My daddy didn't play. My mom didn't play. It was a no-go about him. I will never forget one night, I would sit around and wait for him to call me when he got through running the streets, when he got home from practice, when he got through doing everything. Because I was young and dumb. I was in love. Like, this is my man. It's my baby daddy. Like, we're going to be a family. And it must have been about 2 o'clock in the morning. My phone rang, and I forgot to cut my ringer off because I would sit up and wait for the phone to ring so he could call me. And my phone rang, and I hurried up and snatched it. Hello. And I'm whispering, talking. My mama bust in that room, snatched that phone out of my hand, and went off on him so bad. Like, Negro, you're not going to ever call my house this late demanding that my daughter talk to you, waking this baby up, blah, blah, blah. And my parents was like, hey, this is it. But I go back to the conversation my mom and dad had with me about the baby daddy game. My mama used to always say, we're not going to play the baby mama, baby daddy game. Because after I got a little bit older, but being 6 months old, you weren't helping me like you said you were going to help me. You were still doing your thing, traveling. I think by this time you had maybe gotten a stint overseas playing ball. And so we went to court. I filed child support. And I will never forget sitting when they call you back in the attorney general's office and sitting there, and the lady got the little calculator. She calculated and she says, okay, well, this is, you're going to get 12% or something. I said, why am I getting 12%? And she looked at me. She said, because you're the fourth mother. I said, what? Huh? She said, this is his fourth child. Oh, my God. When I tell you, Quinn, I bawled in that lady's office. She was an older black lady. I bawled in the office. She said, baby, you didn't know? I said, no, ma'am. Like, I felt so stupid, and I'm thinking, my mama and daddy told me you wouldn't shit. I should have just left those things you listen. But I do remember like him trying to still be controlling and possessive, and you don't get to talk. We weren't together at this point now, but he would still tell me, you can't talk to this person, you can't date this person because you are my baby's mother. Oh, God, I was 19 and dumb. Do you understand me? And I always thank my mama for telling me we're not going to play the baby mama, baby daddy game. And my mama and daddy standing 10 toes like, baby, you don't need him. This baby going to be just fine. Yeah. And they never lied. No. Never lied. Okay? No. So I wish more parents would, not to say the parents aren't doing it, but I wish more kids would listen. More girls would listen. Like, if they would just know we have your best interest at heart. Listen to me. I've been through it. Listen to me. I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know.
But you know what? I also wish that these moms would hold these boys accountable.
Ooh, Lord. That's a whole nother. That's... Because mine didn't. Mine never... Not... My son's father's mother never held him accountable. They don't. We went through the same thing with... You're trying to ruin my son's career. You're trying to do, and mind you, I was probably the most decent child your son had ever seen. My mama and daddy were like, "How the hell you get mixed up in this?" And that's project trash. That's what my mom and dad called it. Like, how did you get mixed up in this?
And you hate to say that, but it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, it is, and that's why I said I'm not even gonna. I'm not even gonna go there because I don't want to offend. That's not why I'm here. But absolutely. Yeah. And they are not holding their sons accountable. No. And what happens when you don't hold children accountable is they become little monsters in society that feel like they don't have to pay consequences for the things that they do. And then I know that it has to feel bad to raise a monster. Yeah. If you've done everything you tried to do while raising a monster. Even if you didn't. If you didn't, then you should really feel bad because it's your fault. It's partially your fault because But regardless, and you see it both ways. You see kids that, and because I wonder this about I have a son, he's 21, and I hold him accountable, and he hates me for it.
Oh, so you be okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But I always tell him, the goal is to make you a man.
Yeah.
Not to be, if I be soft on you and I tell you that you don't have to do this because you're not staying with me forever, you're gonna, I don't know. And it's like with boys and single moms, I do have a husband, but it's not his dad.
Right.
But it's really hard for moms because you have boys, right? And all boys are different, right?
Yeah.
But the overall is boys are more dependent than girls. Girls are in a rush to be independent. They want to do stuff. Even as children, they don't want you to help them. They want to do it themselves. Boys, they will let you do it until you make them do it.
I'm trying to tell you.
So even with the laying up, you see that more with boys. Like the moms just let them, oh, your girlfriend can come over. She can come spend the night. Like, yeah, I'm not that mama. And no. But they are not being held accountable at all for the things that they do. And so when you have, because my son is always, you're always on the woman's side. And I'm like, listen, I was a girl before I was anything else.
Yeah.
So you're not going to make you seem like you said something. You did
something. You did it. Yeah.
And that's not to say that the girls don't play their role. But it's a certain way that you have to be as a man. And if you did it, then you deal with the consequences of it. I'm not going to be the person to tell you that it's okay that you did this. It's not okay. And whatever happens. I tell them all the time, don't do this, don't do that. But let me tell you, I'm not coming to get you from jail. If you did it, this is what happens. Actions have consequences. If this happens and this happens. If he was to do, like, I don't do domestic violence. You're not hitting no girl and then I'm just going to be like, oh, well, she hit you first. No, we don't hit girls. So if she's hitting you, then you leave. You don't need to date her.
Yeah.
Because she don't know how to keep her hands to herself. And what happens if you are having a bad day and you do click?
Put your jeopardy, your freedom in
now you going to jail because you didn't leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it take two. We need to teach our girls
to keep their hands to themselves too.
To keep their hands to themselves. And a lot that's bad with us women is our mouth. We are verbally abusive.
Yeah, we are.
And a lot of men can't keep up with us.
Because we're smarter. And I know I have a slick mouth. My mouth is so lethal. I know somebody don't want to knock my head between the washer and dryer before. I cut so deep. And they don't let you have a little education behind you, and they don't. Yes. Oh, we cutting to the bone, to the core. Because you don't even understand what I said with your stupid stuff. Like, we cut so deep. But I do want to move in to talk about kind of how you're turning your tragedy into triumph. Like, how you're making your pain, turning your pain into purpose. And so you started a foundation for your baby. So tell us about that.
Yes. So I started a nonprofit in my daughter's honor. It's called the Ariel Love Foundation, and that is exactly what we do. We talk to adolescents about domestic abuse, toxicity, and what healthy love should look like. Because what we found is a lot of people, don't know what abuse is. They don't know
different
all
types
the
of
different
abuse.
Yeah, they don't know. They think it's normal. And when you come up around that, then you normalize it.
Yeah.
And then they don't know what love is. They think it's sex or, somebody giving me something or, they don't understand what it really is. And unfortunately, some of our older women don't know what that is either. So that is what we do. We go to schools, we go to like youth groups, we're out in the community, like just giving information and just trying, because nobody should have to die because they was trying to love somebody. And the key is, because we're human. Everybody want to be loved. I don't care who they are, what they say. Everybody wants to be loved. But we should never betray ourselves for that love. If it's making you choose between you, if you dating somebody and they making you choose between them or you, you always choose you. Because guess what? They don't love you if they're making you choose that.
Yeah.
And you have to get to a place where you know, you understand that. And unfortunately, you know, there was a time when we would say, oh, well, you live and you learn. Same thing I was saying with my daughter. I would call relatives. I really don't like him. This is happening. This is happening. Well, you're going to have to let her live and learn. She'll figure it out. Well, she didn't get an opportunity to live and learn, you know, and we are dealing with a new generation. These kids toting guns like it's candy.
Yes. Lord.
And they have no self-control. So if I make you mad, you might shoot me.
Yeah, because they lack emotional intelligence.
And they don't have no accountability. Because see, what happened is, you know, and that's, like I just said, I have a son. My son his head is like a rock. And I am to the point to where I am like about to be like, you know what? You don't want to listen.
Yeah.
I have tried. I am the kind of person where I try and I try and I try because I don't believe in having regrets. So I'm going to do all I can do. But after I did all I can do and you still don't want to listen, guess what? Life going to teach you. I'm going to pray for you.
Yeah.
But life is going to teach you.
Yeah.
And it's not going to hold back. But guess what? Them hard lessons, them be the best ones.
Yeah.
Them the ones that stick.
Woo. And listen, I've been teaching my boys since forever. Like I'm a single mom teacher. I can't get you out of nothing, baby. I can't afford nothing but to give you them Twinkies every month. That's all you're gonna get out of me. Twinkies and some underwear at the commissary. So don't do nothing stupid. I cannot go get you. I can't afford an attorney. I cannot afford bail. I cannot afford anything.
But you have some moms that they running up there.
Oh, baby.
They, you know, it's like that's their husband.
Yeah.
Like they, you know, and even then, like you were talking about the environment. Things like that, they matter.
Yeah.
Like with this boy's family, when I met his family, which I didn't meet them until after,
right?
You know, except for the mama, and it wasn't no good, you know. You could tell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could understand why you like this.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an excuse for what you did, but
you're a product of your environment.
Absolutely. But so that's what we do in the nonprofit. We are aspiring to do a lot more because, you know, at the core of it, like I said, it's self-love. How do you feel about you? What do you think about you? What makes you feel loved? What don't you like? You don't have to deal with certain things, and it's okay to be alone. And everybody doesn't have to like you. Yeah. Because the truth is that everybody don't like you. Yeah. They might pretend like they do, or they may do it to get whatever it is that they need. But at the end of the day, who can you call if something happens? Right. Even when you think about yourself. I remember being infatuated and wondering if I really love him, you know, and something might happen, something major, and I don't really want to do that for them. Yeah. You know, and then I have to be like, oh, I guess you don't really love them because because I'm just not finna do all that. Yeah. You know? Whereas if you really love somebody, you might. But the point is, like, you know, just learning how to love you, how to listen to yourself and not be pressured and pulled by what everybody else thinks or feels, and going with, you know, how somebody treats you over how they look. Right. Yes. You know, because you could look, really, the devil is beautiful. You know, he had a beautiful voice, right? But it's the devil. Yeah. You know, and it's not worth it. The end is not worth it. The end is death of something. So how can the listeners, how can we support you, support the foundation, things that you guys need, any support that we can provide the baby? Because you got a whole new baby, and you were a mother to a whole new baby. You started all over again. Girl, don't remind me of that.
How is she?
She's beautiful.
Good.
She's 4. She is a handful. But she is really smart. She has everything that she got more than me. Good. She has a really good godmother. My daughter's best friend is her godmother. And I remember when she was pregnant, she would be like, "Did she think this gonna be her baby?" And she is, she's around her age. I think she just made 24. And she is so good. Like, she is so good. She has really stepped up and, really is there for AZ. I call her AZ. But like I said, me and my mom share custody. So AZ has more than enough. She doesn't have a mom or a dad, and obviously you can't replace that. But she has everything that you could ever think that you want.
That's good.
She does swimming. She does gymnastics. She is a little brat. She's spoiled. Good.
That's good. That's good. So aside from that, if people wanted to donate to the foundation, like what are the avenues to be able to do that?
So we have a website, and it's www.mariellovefoundation.com. We also are on Facebook and Instagram. I recently opened a TikTok for it, but there's not much there.
I saw one of your videos come across my For You page. I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy that you're trying to tell the story. Yeah.
I'm trying, but I am getting used to this whole video in your face all the time era. But yeah, you can find us there. We will be out more like at events and things like that. So we do keep things like that posted to our social media and our website.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm definitely going to post some information, post all the links in your brochure in our episode notes so that people can be able to get in contact with you. I definitely, for real, want to reach out on some coming to the schools and talking to some kids because, girl, the need is there. Yeah. The need is there.
And I think the kids, anytime I go out, a lot of times they know, like when I talk about the story, they know about the story or they've seen her picture on social media. So they'll always be like, oh, I remember this. And I think it helps them to connect. Yeah. Knowing that it's not just a story on TV, but that it's real. A real person and this really happened. And nobody wants this to happen. And it's nothing you can prepare for. But we can try to stop it. And if we start young, and talk about, instead of talking about the birds and the bees, that is important too. We can talk about, safe sex and things like that when it's time, but let's talk about love and how do you know if somebody loves you. Let's have conversations about that. When you're in a relationship, say I'm married, me and daddy have a fight. Let's talk about that with the kids so that they think, because the kids are getting in arguments and they think that every fight is, I just got to push through this one. When to stop and when to keep going. Right. We need to have those type of conversations because every fight looks the same to them. They don't know the ins and outs of what happened or what goes on. And every situation is different. Obviously, we know it's never okay to put hands. Right. But even sometimes, if it's not always, like I said, physical. It's certain things you can say to people that, like, if you tell me you gonna kill me or something when we're talking, I'm not. That's not normal. Yeah. It's not okay.
And I think, like we said earlier, with social media and all these reality shows, our girls are thinking, oh, he said that. He loves me. Oh, he loves me.
If he's jealous, he loves me.
Like, no, baby, that's not. You got one time to tell me that, baby. You'll never see me or hear from me again.
At all.
Yeah, because it's not cute. Because they mean it.
Yeah, if I can't have you, nobody can.
They mean it.
Right.
They mean it.
Murder, suicide.
Yeah.
Those happen.
And they're so, like, we talk about how fragile they are mentally. They are not okay. And we talked in another episode about the mental health in our Black boys and how they are so undiagnosed, misdiagnosed. Especially talking about some of these boy moms and dads and how culturally we don't want to accept that something could be wrong with our son. And so many of our sons go undiagnosed and untreated, and we send them out into the world to date, and your baby not right, and you shouldn't be doing that to the family.
And some of them know that they hit the girls.
Because they whooping you at home.
I've heard that where boys are putting their hands on their moms. I'm like, It's nothing that lives in my house. I cannot be scared of anything that lives in my house.
I don't want to lock my doors, and we have students. I've taught students over the years whose parents come in crying into the meetings, how they had to barricade themselves in their rooms at night, and how they walk on eggshells not to upset their child. And I'm like,
so what are you supposed to do with them at school if
at
home?
That's a whole nother episode. Yeah, but this is the reality of what we're dealing with. So when you say, moms are protecting and this is years of these mothers doing that. They didn't just wake up.
You know what? But they want to be their friends. They want to be cool with them. They don't want to upset them. But guess what? In life, them people out there, they're not gonna care that you're mad. They're not gonna care.
They don't.
So
care.
You need to learn how. And the one thing that I hate, and I'm gonna say this because I hate it. I went to an award ceremony for my daughter. Why do everybody get an award? Everybody don't deserve an award. The bad kids get an award because we don't want them to be left out. No, you have to work for awards in real life. Nobody gives you a
welcome to the world of education. Everybody wins. Everybody plays. Everybody wins.
Yeah, and that's detrimental to society because you have these kids that they are entitled to something that they didn't work for.
Yeah.
So you get older and you feel like somebody should just, and it's like nobody's just you're gonna be under the bridge.
Yeah, you're absolutely.
But you got moms. They want to shield them, but what happened when you're not here no more, Mom? What's gonna happen to your baby?
That's it. I'm gonna say this, and we're gonna wrap up. You mentioned that, and it reminds me of Halloween. We had an issue happen in my neighborhood at Halloween, and there's this one particular kid who always, he's been getting in trouble in the neighborhood for years now, right? And so somebody was talking to me about the little kid in the situation. I said, have y'all talked to their mom and dad? Like the men, have y'all kind of gone to the mom or gone to the dad to talk about? And they said, no, you can't tell that mama nothing about her son. So guess what? Let Harris County talk to her. And I said, well, all right. Because the village is tired. Because these kids are heathens, terrorists, and the village is tired. So these men were like, no, nobody wants to talk. You can't tell her nothing. When you try to tell her something, not my baby, not my baby, not my baby. So guess what? Harris County will tell you.
Don't cast your pearls among swine.
So,
it's no point. That's where I'm at. Like, that's true. You cannot. Some people just refuse to listen.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I want to thank you so much for coming, sharing your story. I'm so happy that you came. I know that was difficult to live and talk through again, but I'm glad that you're able to do that to try to help other people out. I'm glad you got your baby.
Yes.
I'm glad that you have something and you have some beautiful memories of your daughter.
I do.
And I hope that you see some of those things in her baby. I hope that you do.
She does. She looks just like my she looks just like my daughter at the age
at that age.
Is. Yes, she looks, and she's very stubborn.
Okay.
And
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so we do want to make sure that we are supporting the Ariel Love Foundation. I'm going to put your information out again so that everybody will know how to be able to reach you, help you support your cause, and reach out to you because I know that you have been taking inboxes for advice and things from people. So
yeah. Talk to your kids.
Talk to them.
Talk to your kids. Talk about all things love, all things relationship, friendship. They need to know it because they are out here being social.
Yeah.
And if they are not aware, if you know better, you do better. They have to be, at least put it on their mind. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you don't know what love is, and let's open up the conversation so they can start thinking about it. What do I like? What do I want? What makes me feel good? What doesn't make me feel good? Who do I feel good when this person is around, or how does it make me feel when they talk to me or when they say that? I've had people say, and I know we're wrapping up, but I just recently went to talk to some young girls. They was like 22, and she was talking about, I have arguments with my boyfriend. He don't ever hit me, but he calls me a bitch, and I'm like, so what do you do? She's like, it's just words. It don't really mean nothing. And I'm like, would you let somebody call your mom that? Mm-hmm. And she's like, no. I'm like, why? Because it's, say it with me, it's disrespectful. Yeah. So why is it not disrespectful? And I'm not saying you don't argue because you argue. I argue with my husband sometimes. But never would he ever call me that. Yeah. So we got to stop making it okay because it's different even if you with your homegirls and they saying it playfully. When somebody's saying something maliciously and when somebody's saying something playfully. But y'all men.
And they know when it cuts deep.
Yeah, but you allow it. So, you know what I mean? Like you've normalized it. So now I can see it when I'm mad and when I'm playing.
And you're going to forgive me because I'm going to cry and tell you I love you and I didn't mean it. My daughter just got here from basketball practice about 30 minutes ago. She was just dropped off. And I'm so mad that I didn't make her come in and sit and listen to this conversation because it's something, she's just sitting in the waiting room. She checks and says, I'm here. Aww. And I should have said, get your butt in here and listen to this conversation. But I definitely want to sit down and listen to this episode again with her and have a conversation with her. So, again, thank you so much for coming. I hope you'll come back because I feel like there's so many different
layers to it.
Yeah, that we could discuss and help people with teenage daughters and sons. Because we need to talk to these moms. As boy moms, I think we need to talk to these moms too. So, all right. Well, thank you again for coming out and showing us how we can support the Ariel Love Foundation. Thank you for talking about your baby. And just thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll be back next time.